hypothesis, we tend to laugh at them. But they don't have that anyhow, so maybe we should hold back on our laugh and see what he's really saying. All of these bring into an existence form. This chalk has a form, right? Everything has a form. It also, what gave it its form, whatever form it has, is itself in a process. It gained it, it sustains it, it's going to lose it. Now, for Plato, these are in actuality moments in time. That's all there are. They really are and should be represented in this way. All of the elements have a source. Whatever any one of these four is, it's only that for only a certain period of time, and it transforms itself into the others. Therefore, it's not elemental. They're merely motions. They're processes which at certain points take on particular forms. He says that these so-called elements transform by being compressed, by some condensation, some compression. It dissolves, it contracts. So it has these forms, you see. It compresses, right? It condenses, it dissolves. Right? These are the forces, right? It combusts. And most of, right? These are the four. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are processes. Therefore, he says, what you really should avoid is speaking of these elements as if they were states. You should only talk about them, and he uses this term, they are really such like. That's the language again, like. So if you say something is burning, fire, no. It's going through a process of combustion, it's being transformed. Right? Through that very process, it's then going to become aerated. Right, it's going to condense, it's going to come down, the processes are then going to be brought together, it's then going to scatter. These are the real processes, and therefore the question is, what is the substance that goes through these changes? What is this substance, which sometimes we call matter, which he doesn't call matter? What is that substance? Well, I am on 109, 10, 11, all of those pages. You'll see that these pages are odd numbered because the even numbers are all classic Greek, and I didn't copy that because I think you might take too much time reading the classic Greek if I gave it to you. Is that nice? I'm on page 113 for a moment. We must, however, in beginning our fresh account of the universe, make more distinctions than we did before. For then we distinguish two forms. We must now declare another, third kind. For our former exposition, those two were sufficient. One of them being the model, intelligible, uniform, existent, and the second, the copy, the model's copy. subject to becoming invisible. Those are the two forms, the model and the copy. Now we have to add a third. He says, you know what, this third form is baffling and obscure, very baffling and obscure. He said, this third one in particular, it should be the receptacle. It should be a receptacle, the nurse of all becoming. But we have to describe this with a little more care. So now he talks about the processes of becoming. First of all, we see that what we call water is becoming by condensation, as we believe stones and earth. And again, the same substance by dissolving and dilating becomes breath and air. And air through combustion becomes fire. And conversely, fire, when contracted and quenched, returning back to the form of air, and the air once more uniting and condensing into cloud and mist, and issuing from these, when still further compressed, flowing water. And from water, earth, and stones again. Thus we see the elements passing on to one another in an unbroken circle, what he calls the gift of birth. That's all this is. It's going on and on and on. Okay? It's going on and on and on. At times it appears like this, at times like this, but actually it's nothing other than the gift of birth. All creation is unfolding. It's birthing. The entire universe is birthing. It's a continual process of creation. Since none of these ever remains identical in appearance, which of them shall a man definitely affirm to be any one particular element, and no other without incurring ridicule? Safest plan by treating of these elements is to proceed in this way, he says. Whatsoever object we perceive to be constantly changing from one state to another, like fire, that object, be it like fire, we must never describe as this, but such like. Nor should we ever call water this, but such like. Nor should we describe any other element, blah, 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 other than such like. Because it's only one substance going through these transformations. Now, we're now going to a rather interesting point. But that wherein they are always in appearance, becoming severally into existence. See, wherein, two words, wherein and wherefrom. But that wherein they are always in appearance, coming severally into existence, and wherefrom in turn they perish, right? So, in and from. Wherein and where from. So, as it emerges in some form and returns, perishes, as it is in one term and returns, as it is in one, etc., in and from is all it is. It returns to its source. It emerges from its source continuously going on and on and on in an ordered movement. In describing that and that alone, should we employ the terms this and that? Whereas in describing what is such like,